Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into some really interesting source material. It's a comprehensive teacher's guide for Norm McClintock's novel, Marked.
That's right. And our mission, really, is to unpack what's inside this guide, see what layers it reveals about the book itself, themes, characters, maybe some surprising connections.
Exactly. We're looking for those insights that go beyond just the plot summary, maybe challenge how you look at things like perception, art, even second chances.
So this deep dive, it's not just a book report on Marked. We're using the guide as, well, like a lens.
A lens, yeah.
To get to the core themes, understand the characters better, and see how it connects to the real world in ways you might not expect. Think of it as a shortcut to the deeper stuff the book brings up.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The premise of Marked is immediately intriguing. We've got Colin, a young guy.
Right.
He gets a job cleaning graffiti, specifically in a pretty upscale neighborhood.
Okay.
Now, you might think his biggest worry is, I don't know, getting the paint off or something.
Sure, or dealing with angry property owners.
Exactly. But here's the twist. Almost immediately, he becomes the main suspect in a string of robberies.
Wow, okay. That escalates quickly.
It really does. And what's super unsettling is this pattern that emerges. Every single time he's out cleaning graffiti, the police show up nearby. They're investigating a fresh crime scene. A break-in, usually.
So it looks like he's connected somehow.
Completely. He knows he's innocent, obviously, but the circumstances, they look incredibly suspicious.
So his challenge is huge.
Absolutely. He has to figure out what's actually going on, who's setting him up, basically, to clear his name. Because right now, he's marked, you could say.
That's a really compelling setup, and a lot of credit goes to the author, Norm McClintock.
Tell us a bit about her.
Well, she's very accomplished, a 5-time winner of the Crime Writers of Canada's Arthur Ellis Award.
5 times, wow.
Yeah, for Best Juvenile Crime Novel. Her mysteries, they really pull you in, they're hard to put down, and she often explores these complex situations young people find themselves in. Unusual relationships, tough choices.
So Marked fits right in her wheelhouse, then.
Definitely. And besides Marked, she wrote other books in the Orca-sounding series like Bang, Down, Snitch, and Tell. She's also a freelance editor, writes at least one novel a year, apparently, based in Toronto.
That focus on youth and tough spots really sets the stage for Colin. The book implies he's got a past, right? Some trouble he's trying to leave behind.
Oh, absolutely. The guide actually spells it out. Colin needed a youth worker.
Okay, that tells you something.
It does. It tells you his troubles weren't minor. Getting this graffiti job, it wasn't just for pocket money. It was, like, crucial. It meant he wouldn't go back to shoplifting.
So he has a history of shoplifting.
Yes. And his main goal now is just stay out of trouble, avoid the police completely.
What about his family?
We learn a bit. His mom had him when she was 17. His dad died when Colin was only 8.
Oh, a cuff.
Yeah. And that meant his mom had to work 2 jobs for a long time. And it seems like it was during that period, maybe with less supervision, that Colin started getting into trouble.
Right. That makes sense.
And this whole backstory, it kind of prompts this social question the book touches on. Colin looks at this rich neighborhood he's working in and assumes, these people have fewer worries.
The classic assumption. Grass is greener.
Exactly. But the guide pushes back a bit. Do wealthy families really have less to worry about? Are their lives fundamentally easier? Or do rich kids just find different kinds of trouble?
That's a really interesting angle. It makes you wonder, right? If Colin had grown up in that wealthy neighborhood, would his father's death have hurt less? Would he somehow have avoided trouble just because of the setting? Or would the problems manifest differently?
It's a good question. The book doesn't give easy answers, but it uses Colin's viewpoint to really explore that contrast.
And McClintock seems to use language very deliberately, too. The guide points out how powerful adjectives can be.
Oh, definitely. This is a great point from the guide, how just changing one descriptive, one adjective can completely shift how you perceive a character or a situation. It's subtle, but really effective.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Take this description of Dave Marsh from Chapter 1. Dave Marsh is one of those dead serious guys who can look you in the eye and know that you're hiding something from him.
Okay. Dead serious. Got it.
Now think about how your feeling about Marsh changes if instead of dead serious, the word was cautious or dangerous.
Ooh, yeah. Different vibe.
Or dramatic, fierce, friendly, even generous. Each one paints a totally different mental picture, right?
Completely changes your first impression.
Exactly. Or how about Colin talking about himself in Chapter 4? I was just another screwed up kid, and it had been his job to straighten me out.
Okay, screwed up. Seems fitting for his past.
But what if screwed up was replaced with angry? Or cheerful? Or depressed? Energetic? Frantic? Hungry? Late?
Wow. Yeah, the whole emotional weight shifts.
Yeah.
Cheerful kid needing straightening out is very different.
Right. And one more, the warning Colin gets in Chapter 2. You do a sloppy job, you're fired. Pretty blunt.
Yeah, clear message.
But imagine if the adjective changed. You do an extraordinary job, you're fired. Makes no sense. Or a funny job, a horrible job, an inaccurate job, a peculiar job, even a terrific job.
Okay, I see. The adjective carries so much weight in defining the situation and the speaker's intent.
Precisely. It shows how carefully words are chosen.
So McClintock's a master with words. How does this connect to the bigger picture, the themes the teacher's guide highlights for, say, curriculum use?
Well, the guide does a nice job of organizing key vocabulary around Colin's experiences, showing how language shapes his world and connects to broader learning themes.
Like what?
Okay, so take employment. The guide lists words like job, resume, minimum wage, warehouse, overtime, confidence, reliable, efficient.
Standard job stuff.
Right, but these words aren't just vocabulary. They reinforce the message from his youth worker that having a job teaches responsibility, it's a positive use of time, and, crucially, it provides money so he doesn't need to shoplift. It's tied directly to his rehabilitation, you know.
So the words themselves represent his path forward. Makes sense.
Exactly. Then there's the urban landscape. Here we get terms like aggressive tagging, you know, the quick, messy stuff.
Right, versus something more artistic.
Exactly. So you also have burners, those big, elaborate, colorful pieces, and blank canvases, utility poles, residents, traffic, graffiti itself, creative pieces, urban art.
These words capture the whole environment Colin's in and the tension around graffiti itself. Art versus vandalism. Yeah.
And finally, crime. This is central, obviously. Words like arrest, evidence, gangs, ringleader, suspicious, prison, territory, break-in, forensic, stealing, involved, criminal, police officer.
The stakes.
Absolutely. These words define the danger Colin's in, the world he's trying to escape but gets pulled back into, and what he's up against trying to prove his innocence.
So this deep dive, it really goes beyond just the story. It's using the book to spark thought about real-world stuff, things the listener you can relate to, like jobs, for instance.
Yeah, the book actually presents quite a range of occupations, which is interesting.
Like what?
Well, there's Colin's youth worker, obviously. Then Alyssa, the dog walker. An artist, an art teacher. We hear about doctors, lawyers, a stockbroker, a veterinarian, a dental hygienist, police officers, a social worker.
That's quite a mix. From service jobs to high-powered professions.
It is. And the guide uses this variety to prompt reflection. You know, think about these jobs. Would you like doing any of them? What would they actually be like day to day? Interesting, challenging, maybe boring, exciting, dangerous.
And what kind of skills or personality would fit best?
Exactly. What kind of schooling or training would you need? It connects the fictional world to real career considerations.
That makes sense. And what about skills? Colin enjoys drawing, right?
He does. He likes drawing and sketching, and the book notes he believes in practicing regularly. The guide picks up on this.
How so?
It uses Colin's dedication to drawing as a jumping-off point. It asks you to think, is there a skill you want to improve? How could you practice it every day, even in small ways? Well, the guide suggests simple things, like taking the stairs instead of the elevator for fitness, or reading daily announcements aloud to practice public speaking, or keeping a journal nearby to jot down writing ideas, little things.
Practical stuff. I like that.
Yeah, and it connects back to Colin's youth worker again, who was big on kids having jobs, remember, believing they teach responsibility, fill time positively.
To provide money so they don't shoplift.
Right.
Yeah.
So it naturally leads to thinking about summer jobs for teens, what's available, what are the benefits, and just as a fun detail, Alyssa, the dog walker, the guide mentions the specific breeds she walks, a German Shepherd, an Airedale, a Chocolate Lab, a Pug, and a Jack Russell Terrier.
Specific. Okay, so jobs, skills. What about the deeper themes? Human nature, maybe?
Absolutely. The book, and the guide highlights this, raises big questions about second chances, particularly through a character named Ray Mihivitz.
Yes, you mentioned him. What does he say?
In Chapter 2, he says 3 really significant things to Colin, things that kind of resonate through the whole story. First, I'm a big believer in second chances.
Okay, that's pretty direct.
Then, everybody makes mistakes.
True enough.
And finally, people can change.
Second chances, mistakes, change. That's a powerful trio of ideas.
It really sets a philosophical tone for the possibility of redemption, which is central to Colin's journey.
And what about the graffiti itself? Is it just vandalism in the book, or?
Well, that's another interesting debate the guide brings up. Colin himself, he doesn't think graffiti is art. He calls it territory marking and stupid in Chapter 4.
So he dismisses it.
He does, but the guide presents the broader discussion. The fact that graffiti is usually done on private property without permission, that it's often temporary, gets cleaned up.
Right, impermanent.
And its beauty, or lack thereof, is totally subjective.
Right.
One person's masterpiece is another's eyesore. But on the other hand, it can be a form of expression. A voice, maybe, for people who feel voiceless in a sterile urban environment. So it's complex.
It sounds like Marked, through the lens of this guide, really opens up a lot more than just a mystery plot.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just a whodunit.
It's a springboard, really, for talking about tricky social issues, why people behave the way they do, how our perceptions shape reality.
And how labels, like being marked as suspicious, can stick.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear this book offers a lot to chew on.
Definitely. And maybe here's a final thought for you, the listener, to consider, building on all this. We talked about graffiti, these physical marks on the landscape.
Yeah.
Well, think about the other kinds of marks we make, the choices we make, the paths we take. Are those marks always temporary? Or do they leave lasting imprints on ourselves, on our communities? Maybe changing not just physical spaces, but how people see things, their perspectives.
That's a deep one. Do our marks fade, or do they redefine the canvas? Something to think about. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Marked. We hope it sparks some thoughts and encourage you to keep exploring the insights hidden all around you.